see the Stargate up. And this is going to be some two-base art play, and I think this is going to be a good transition for him, stressing the fact that I believe there's only one comsat station out right now, not even completed yet, so these comsat stations are going to be overworked. By the time the scans come in and even detect the fact that there is arbiters coming his way, he's only going to have two comsat stations at best, and neither of them is really going to have a ton of energy, very likely, especially with all the DTs that are going to be wandering around, especially with just how many scans he's going to need and how many SCVs he still needs to produce. Yeah, there we go. There we see one scan going off to get rid of that TT. Still probably haven't seen a scan on the main in that case, so he doesn't even know that arbiters are coming up. So we haven't seen a starport yet, I don't believe. Haven't seen anything going to mobile detection to science vessel. So much looks like he might be in a very, very good position here to take this game just through this very cloak heavy build, going from DTs right into arbiters. Very smart play by Much, and taking advantage of this map very, very well. Taking advantage of the situation and his cloaking skills. And Spider-Man being placed so Much is not going to be able to expand again. That's a little bit on the annoying side. I'm going to have to throw down a pylon and maybe even pull forge and cannons and those kinds of things. It looks like Much actually might be pulling his forces back to take care of that Spider-Man. Really all he needs to do is send one Zod in and just let it take a hit and just continue living after that, not even worry about it. But instead he's going to send his Dragoons in here to take down the Spider-Man, and good, it didn't go off. That would have been really disappointing if that Dragoon had gone off, or if that mine had gone off. I would have been really questioning Much's form here, but I think overall he's been in very, very good form in this game. Those DT pickups trying to trace that mine around were very, very good until his shuttle wandered over a hill. And then he kind of ran out of room and didn't notice it or something. But for the most part, those were very well timed. Good execution of that DT drop. I wish he had gone in just maybe a little bit earlier, because he kind of dilly-dallied there at the edge of last base, just a couple of seconds. If he had gone there just a couple of seconds earlier, it's not assured, but it's possible that he would have been able to stop that engineering bay from going up. And if that had been the case, he would have won the game right there just by stopping SCVs from completing that engineering bay for a little bit longer. It would have been pretty much impossible for Last to have come back in this game, but certainly he's given himself a very big advantage here, and we see both players now willing to macro up, probably still waiting for speed on his Zealots before he can really get going. I haven't seen another shuttle produced so far. Actually, no, take that back. That's the shuttle right there. I knew I saw something moving across the map, and I was like, I haven't seen a shuttle in a while, but there is a shuttle, so I don't know if there's DTs in there. Could have also been High Templars if he got Storm Research, if he wasn't able to see what's in there. Probably not a 4 Zealot drop, but it's possible it's a 4 Zealot drop as well. 4 Zealot drop at this point probably won't be very effective unless he drops them right in on those tanks, and those tanks are clumped up right in the mineral line, so actually that could actually be very effective, because he can get the tanks to shoot their own tanks and their own SCVs at the same time, which would be really awesome, because I don't think turrets are really well placed in that situation. They're okay, but not that fantastic. We do have a probe transfer going down to that third base now, and I believe some cannons and some other buildings, some pylons and things are up and running, so he's in good shape right now for that. We've got a command center going up for Last, so he's going to look to take that 10 o'clock base as his third. And it would be very well advised by Much to take that base, to stop that base from ever going up. We do have a couple vultures here coming into the third base, and Much is actually going to have to destroy his own pylon in order to get his other Dragoons into that base, which sucks a little bit for him. Going to be able to defuse these mines and clear this away pretty quickly. And I've got a little bit of a stuffy nose, so if I start like sounding nasally or something, that's why. This kind of appeared during the middle of this commentary. I just started getting like a stuffy nose, and I don't really want to like pause and just like start like blowing into my nose everywhere. It just feels weird. So I'm just going to keep continuing unless it gets really awkward. Really bad. We do have speed upgrade finished, and we've got the Arbiter out, so now we've got some nice little cloaking going on here. As some people like to say, Arbiters are cheap because it turns every Zealot into a DT. Pretty much. It's awesome. And Arbiters are sweet. Although those comsat stations have been around a while, they probably have been scanning, probably have seen this coming. We do see more missile turrets going up. I still haven't seen a starport. He's really going to need a starport. Going to need that science vessel out. And it would be really astonishing to me if somehow he hasn't scanned the main and hasn't seen the arbiters. Because if he hasn't, that would be really depressing. And Much actually throwing out the fourth base here as well. That might have been scanned because the Vulture looks like it's going down to that position. Could just be a game sense by Last as he's going down there to try and stop that base. And this shuttle is going to wander into a turret. Needs to be careful, Much. No, you're wandering into a turret. And yeah, it's just going to retreat here. And I think Last might actually be able to take this base, get this base up and running. Not easily, but certainly not without too many problems. I think Much noticed it just a little bit too late. And the barracks was able to be floated down there in a supply depot. So there's a decent wall over there. So he'd have to really kind of commit there too. to really break that against 5 siege tanks. It would be a pretty strong commit there. And I wonder if that if he's waiting for stasis, which would be the normal play, or if he's maybe possibly going for a recall, because from his position he can recall the main, the natural, or the third very, very easily, and that puts a lot of pressure on a Terran player. It's really hard to defend 3 places from recall at the same time, especially when you're really only on 2 bases and his third is just now up and running. He doesn't really have the money or the resources to just throw turrets everywhere and throw mines across the map inside of his base. He just doesn't really have that kind of economy right now. So if Much was to do a recall, go for a recall, which I think would be really smart considering he kept last behind for so much of this game. He doesn't really need to get that early stasis. It would be very advantageous for him to go for a recall and see how much damage he can do, because it could be very, very significant here. And we do have a shuttle coming out here, going to maybe try and go for some Zell bombs. There are Goliaths in the area as well. 2 Arbiters coming out here, and what's it doing? Okay, we've got to stay. Oh, he stasis his own shuttle. Aw, that's not good. Stasis his own shuttle, but he stasis a ton of tanks and a lot of other forces, so he's going to be able to bust right open at this third base. Going to be able to bust it all. This is all going down, so Last is absolutely going to lose his third base, not able to get to that fourth at all. He apparently didn't see it, so Last is going to lose his third base, and Munch is going to go up 4 bases to 2, and his main's not going to mine for much longer for Last, so Much just took an astronomical lead in this game, taking that entire wall, and going to be very difficult for Last to retake that base for a while. It's going to be hard for him to sneak another supply depot and barracks into that position to really save it. You do have a Forge up and spinning, but I think that this game will probably end for Much. Much will probably get a victory before he even gets that +1 upgrade completed. And we do see a Dragoon that I believe has been blocked by Much's building placement, and that's unfortunate that he did that. But it occasionally will happen. Even in the pro levels, it does occasionally happen with a little bit of sloppy base positioning, and that 4th base is up and running, not mining gas from it, but he does have it up, and taking a 5th base as well, the bottom right hand main, and I just do not see Last. In order for Last to come back in this, he's going to need, that starport is way too late, but I was thinking he's going to need like DT drops, he's going to need some great EMPs, he's going to need a lot of mines, he's going to need a lot of things, and it's going to require a lot of good vulture dropship play to take down a lot of probes and try and come back economically, but he's not even producing a dropship. Or he might be now, but overall it's just way too late, because he also needs science vessels, and he's just going to fall behind. And this is getting to the point where it's almost about ready to be called. It's I'd put Much's chances in this game probably about 90% at this point. He has got just a ridiculously huge lead right now. A couple vultures going down to the bottom right hand main, seeing that base going up, and a couple mines taking out a couple units, but that just doesn't really matter. It looks like Last is going to try and take his third again, going to go down once more. Too many speed loss, too many Arbiters. We got Dragoons screaming in here. Scan going down kind of late there to see everything, and now these Arbiters should absolutely be able to stasis the entire world. Actually, they're just doing a recall right on top of the forces, not even bothering to stasis, just pulling a recall of Dragoons right on top of all of these tanks, and that should be GG, folks. Last just absolutely losing pretty much all of his tanks. He's got maybe a half dozen tanks left, and in defensive positions here, and that stasis is going to make it so those tanks can't even enter the fray. In fact, I don't know why they would want to. It could be, I think we might have actually seen a nice little mine drag there if no, they would stasis. That mine could have been dragged there, but it looks like he went for the stasis instead. There's just no forces left for Last, and I wonder if Last is like, I want this 3-0 victory. Or maybe he feels bad to lose to an ace player or something, so he's stopping from GGing, but there it is. There's the GG from Last. So, yeah, so sweep by Much. We got to see the Grandpa Toss back in action, and we got to see Much win. We got to see him with his new freaking haircut, looking sweet as hell. Probably he'll end up like all the other ace players. He'll end up ripped within a couple months, and no one will want to even fight them in the real world. They'll only play them on computers because they're too afraid. Look at all those Air Force Ace guys. They're not going to mess around with those. No other team would mess around with Air Force Ace in the real world. So Much on Air Force Ace wins both of his games from his very first week of action. So that is awesome for everyone who is a Much fan, everyone who's an Ace fan. So that's going to be it here. I'm going to head out, but I hope you guys enjoyed this Grandpa Toss reciting.